ever sit down to a meal of crappy frozen meat nuggets and pause to wonder, how the hell did we get here? To this place where our meat is so disgusting? How did this happen? Well, the LA Times recently did a report on that, and they point to one specific culprit being responsible for the entire world now eating processed, chemically treated, churned up meat, and that's the U.S. Army. The report asserts that it isn't a case of there being this huge demand for meat from an exploding population. It's a case of the demand following the supply. And the U.S. Army is responsible for the supply of meat being so crappy, thanks to their unending quest for ever cheaper ways to feed massive numbers of troops. Before World War I, eating unrecognizable scraps of meat was only for the super poor, and it was considered dangerous. If you didn't see the bone of the animal that the meat came from, you could be eating tainted meat. But then in 1918, the U.S. Army found itself needing to send overseas almost 5 million pounds of meat a day. So the Army turned to a man named Lieutenant J. Hormel, as in the same Hormel that is now a multinational, multi-billion-dollar food manufacturer. Hormel figured out how to process meat to ship to troops more cheaply and easily, and the meat industry never looked back. It was the U.S. Army that figured out more efficient ways to debone, sort, add chemicals to, and freeze meat during World War II. In an effort to reduce their meat bill even further, the military figured out how to buy the cheapest, crappiest parts of an animal and then process them to make them look like they were better cuts of meat. Actual military food scientists, real job, invented meat glue, figured out that adding phosphate improved juiciness, built meat flaking equipment, and so much more. They birthed the entire disgusting processed meat industry. By the 1970s, the U.S. Army's processed meat patty things were standard military food. And since there was then a massive infrastructure already set in place, the private sector jumped in, psyched by all the Army's advancements in making meat cheaper. At the beginning of the 20th century, Americans just ate meat cut from chunks off of animals. By the end of that century, the country had perfected all the meat sludges and slurries it eats and exports all over the world today. They say that war advances humanity like nothing else. But the case of the disgusting food we pretend is meat today proves that oftentimes that progress created by war is progress in the wrong direction. Tonight, let's talk about that.